Welcome to our exploration of seated yoga poses, focusing on twists, forward bends, and unique leg positions. In this video, we'll journey through a series of postures that enhance flexibility, build strength, and cultivate mindfulness. Each pose offers its own benefits, from gentle back bends to deep twists, and we'll highlight modifications to suit different abilities. Whether you're new to yoga or looking to deepen your practice, these poses are designed to support your body and mind. Let's begin by understanding the foundational elements of seated yoga and how breath and drishti, or gaze, play a vital role in each posture. Our first pose is Supta Ardha, Vira Utthita, Hasta Padasana, a seated posture that combines a mild back bend and twist. This pose can be viewed from both the right and left sides, offering different perspectives on alignment and engagement. The drishti, or gaze, is directed either upward to the sky or to the third eye, enhancing focus and awareness. With one leg straight and the other knee bent to the back, this posture encourages openness in the hips and spine. Modifications allow practitioners to adjust the intensity, making it accessible for various levels. Next, we move to Heron pose, or Krounchasana. This seated forward bend is characterized by one leg lifted straight and the other bent, with the practitioner grabbing onto the wrist and pointing the toes. The drishti is focused on the nose, or the third eye, promoting concentration. Heron pose stretches the hamstrings and strengthens the core, making it a valuable addition to any yoga sequence. Modifications, such as adjusting the grip or the angle of the leg, help tailor the pose to individual needs. Surya Yantrasana 3, or Sundial pose 3, is a seated twist with the foot turned to the back. The gaze is directed upward, inviting a sense of expansion and openness. This pose challenges flexibility in the hips and hamstrings while encouraging a gentle twist through the torso. Sundial pose is excellent for improving spinal mobility and can be modified by adjusting the position of the foot or the depth of the twist. Practicing this pose regularly helps build both strength and balance. Revolved Heron pose, also known as Parivritta Krounchasana or Revolved Sundial pose 3, combines a forward bend and twist. The drishti alternates between right and left, enhancing awareness of the body's alignment. This pose deepens the stretch in the hamstrings and adds a rotational element, which is beneficial for spinal health. Modifications can include adjusting the depth of the twist or the position of the arms, making it accessible for practitioners at different levels. Upavishta Pada Garudasana, also known as Upavishta Pada Garudasana, features Garuda legs with a back bend, twist, and forward bend. One hand reaches to the sky, emphasizing openness and extension. The drishti is focused on the hands, which helps maintain balance and concentration. This pose is excellent for stretching the hips and spine, and the binding element adds a layer of complexity. Modifications allow practitioners to explore the pose safely and comfortably. Parivritta Hasta, Pada Upavishta, Pada Garudasana, or Parivritta Hasta, Pada Upavishta, Pada Garudasana, is a seated pose with a forward bend and twist. The drishti remains on the hands, reinforcing focus and stability. This posture involves a binding element, which increases the intensity of the stretch and twist. Practitioners can modify the pose by adjusting the depth of the forward bend or the position of the arms, ensuring a safe and effective practice. Upavishta Pada Garudasana, also known as Upavishta Pada Garudasana, in its forward bend variation, brings the forehead to the knee. The drishti is directed toward the nose, encouraging introspection and calm. This pose stretches the back and hamstrings, and the Garuda leg position adds a unique challenge. Modifications can include adjusting the depth of the forward bend or supporting the head with props for comfort. Parivritta Upavishta Pada Garudasana, also known as Parivritta Upavishta Garudasana is a seated pose with a forward bend and twist. Hands are placed in Anjali Mudra or prayer position, and one arm is threaded through the legs. The Drishti alternates between right and left, enhancing awareness and balance. This pose is excellent for stretching the back and hips, and the twist adds a layer of complexity. Modifications can help practitioners find comfort and stability. Baddha Parivritta Upavishta Garudasana, also known as Baddha Parivritta Upavishta Garudasana, is a complex seated pose involving a forward bend, twist, and binding. The Drishti alternates between right and left, supporting balance and focus. This posture deeply stretches the hips and spine, and the binding element intensifies the twist. Modifications can be made to the depth of the forward bend or the bind, making the pose accessible for different practitioners. Upavishta Garudasana in Urdhva Parshva Anantasana, also known as Upavishta Garudasana in Urdhva Parshva Anantasana, is a seated pose with Garuda legs in an upward side infinity position. One hand is placed on the floor, while the other arm extends out, creating a side bend. The Drishti is focused on the hands, enhancing concentration. This pose stretches the side body and hips, and modifications can be made to the arm position or the depth of the bend. Upavishta Garudasana in Urdhva Parshva Anantanasana, also known as Upavishta Garudasana in Urdhva Parshva Anantasana, features palms flat on the floor with fingertips pointing away from the heels. This variation includes a back bend and side bend, with the Drishti directed to the third eye. The pose stretches the chest, shoulders, and side body, and modifications can be made to the hand placement or the depth of the back bend for comfort and safety. Bharadvajasana 3 is a seated pose dedicated to sage Bharadvaja, featuring a forward bend and twist. Both knees are bent with ankles hooked, and the Drishti is directed toward the toes or feet. This pose improves spinal mobility and stretches the hips, making it ideal for increasing flexibility. Modifications can include adjusting the depth of the twist or supporting the knees with props for added comfort. Parshva Bharadvajasana 3 is a sideways twist variation of Bharadvajasana. The forearm is placed on the floor, creating a mild back bend and side bend. The Drishti is focused on the hands, which helps maintain balance and concentration. This pose stretches the side body and spine, and modifications can be made to the arm placement or the depth of the bend for comfort. Hindolasana, or baby cradle pose, is a seated forward bend with one leg straight. Also known as 1 foot behind the head pose prep, this posture can be performed with a straight spine from the front view or as a half forward bend from the side view. The Drishti alternates between the nose, toes, and third eye, supporting focus and relaxation. This pose gently stretches the hips and hamstrings, and modifications allow practitioners to adjust the depth of the bend or the position of the hands. This variation of Hindolasana involves keeping the legs straight and bringing the hands to the face. The Drishti is directed toward the nose or third eye, encouraging introspection. This pose stretches the hips and hamstrings, and the hand placement adds a gentle challenge. Modifications can include adjusting the depth of the forward bend or supporting the head with props for comfort. Janu Shirshasana Prep is a seated pose with palms to the floor by the hips and a straight spine. The Drishti alternates between the nose and toes, supporting focus and relaxation. This pose gently stretches the back and hamstrings, and modifications can include adjusting the depth of the forward bend or supporting the head with props for comfort. Dvihasta Kulpa Yanu Shirshasana is a seated forward bend with both hands reaching to the ankle. The Drishti alternates between the nose and toes, supporting focus and relaxation. This pose stretches the back and hamstrings, and modifications can include adjusting the depth of the forward bend or supporting the head with props for comfort. Dvihastapada Janu Shirshasana is a seated forward bend with both hands grabbing onto the foot. Modifications include interlocking fingers or grabbing onto the wrist with a half forward bend. The Drishti alternates between the toes and nose, supporting focus and relaxation. This pose stretches the back and hamstrings, and modifications can include adjusting the depth of the forward bend or supporting the head with props for comfort. Janu Shirshasana C-Prep, also known as half-root lock pose, is a seated posture with the Drishti alternating between the nose, toes, and third eye. This pose gently stretches the back and hamstrings, and modifications can include adjusting the depth of the forward bend or supporting the head with props for comfort. Janu Shirshasana C is a seated forward bend with modifications for half and full forward bends. The Drishti alternates between the toes and nose, supporting focus and relaxation. This pose stretches the back and hamstrings, and modifications can include adjusting the depth of the forward bend or supporting the head with props for comfort. This variation of Janu Shirshasana C continues the theme of forward bends, with the Drishti alternating between the toes and nose. The pose stretches the back and hamstrings, and modifications can include adjusting the depth of the forward bend or supporting the head with props for comfort. Parivritta Ardha Konasana is a seated twist with one hand to the knee and the other hand to the floor behind the hips for support. The Drishti alternates between right and left, enhancing awareness and balance. This pose stretches the hips and spine, and modifications can include adjusting the depth of the twist or the position of the arms for comfort. This variation of Parivritta Ardha Konasana includes a binding element, with the Drishti alternating between right and left. The pose stretches the hips and spine, and modifications can include adjusting the depth of the twist or the position of the arms for comfort. Parivritta Parsanva Aruna Bona Konasana is a seated twist, side bend, and binding pose with a practitioner grabbing onto the big toe of the bent leg. The Drishti is directed toward the toes, supporting focus and relaxation. This pose stretches the hips and side body, and modifications can include adjusting the depth of the bend or the position of the arms for comfort. This variation of Parivritta Ardha Konasana involves looking back, with one arm grabbing onto the outside edge of the opposite foot and the other grabbing onto the shin behind the back. The Drishti alternates between right and left, supporting focus and relaxation. This pose stretches the hips and spine, and modifications can include adjusting the depth of the twist or the position of the arms for comfort. Ardha Konasana in Anantasana is a seated pose with a mild back bend, side bend, and binding. The elbow is placed on the floor and the head rolls back, with the Drishti directed to the third eye. This pose stretches the side body and hips, and modifications can include adjusting the depth of the bend or the position of the arms for comfort. Parivritta Janu Shirshasana Prep is a seated forward bend with a twist. One hand grabs onto the foot while the other hand is placed on the knee. The Drishti is directed toward the toes, supporting focus and relaxation. This pose stretches the back and hamstrings, and modifications can include adjusting the depth of the forward bend or supporting the head with props for comfort. Parshva Janu Shirshasana, also known as sideways half-bound angle pose, is a seated side bend with the Drishti focused on the hands. This pose stretches the side body and hips, and modifications can include adjusting the depth of the bend or the position of the arms for comfort. This variation of Parshva Janu Shirshasana involves placing the elbow to the floor on the inside of the leg and the other hand on the hip. The Drishti is directed upward, supporting openness and relaxation. This pose stretches the side body and hips, and modifications can include adjusting the depth of the bend or the position of the arms for comfort. Seated twists are a fundamental part of yoga practice, offering numerous benefits for the spine, digestion, and overall well-being. Twisting poses help detoxify the body by stimulating internal organs and improving circulation. They also enhance spinal mobility and relieve tension in the back and shoulders. By incorporating twists into your routine, you can increase flexibility and promote a sense of balance and calm. Remember to move gently and mindfully, respecting your body's limits. Drishti, or gaze, is an essential element in yoga practice. It helps direct your attention, maintain balance, and deepen concentration. Each pose in this sequence utilizes a specific drishti, such as upward to the sky, toward the nose, or to the third eye. By focusing your gaze, you can enhance your awareness and connect more deeply with your breath and movement. Drishti also supports the meditative aspect of yoga, encouraging mindfulness throughout your practice. Yoga is for everyone, and modifications are key to making poses accessible. Whether you're working with tight hips, limited flexibility, or recovering from injury, props and adjustments can help you find comfort and stability in each posture. Using blocks, straps, or cushions can support your body and allow you to experience the benefits of each pose safely. Listen to your body and choose modifications that suit your needs, ensuring a sustainable and enjoyable practice. Breath is the foundation of yoga, especially in seated poses. Conscious breathing helps you move deeper into stretches, maintain balance, and calm the mind. In each posture, focus on slow, steady inhales and exhales, allowing the breath to guide your movement. Breath awareness also supports relaxation and reduces stress, making your practice more effective and enjoyable. Integrate breath with movement for a holistic yoga experience. Forward bends are excellent for stretching the hamstrings and lower back. These poses help release tension, improve flexibility, and promote relaxation. By gently folding forward, you lengthen the spine and open the hips, supporting overall mobility. Remember to move slowly and avoid forcing the stretch, allowing your body to gradually adapt. Forward bends also encourage introspection and calm, making them a valuable part of any yoga sequence. Back bends in seated poses help open the chest, strengthen the back, and improve posture. These poses counteract the effects of sitting and slouching, promoting spinal health and energy flow. Back bends also stimulate the heart and lungs, enhancing circulation and vitality. Practice back bends mindfully, focusing on lengthening the spine and avoiding compression. Modifications can help you safely explore these poses and enjoy their benefits. Side bends are essential for enhancing mobility in the spine and hips. These poses stretch the side body, improve balance, and relieve tension. By incorporating side bends into your practice, you can increase flexibility and support overall movement. Focus on lengthening through the side body and maintaining steady breath. Modifications can help you find comfort and stability, making side bends accessible for all levels. Binding poses in yoga involve wrapping the arms around the body or legs, deepening the stretch and enhancing flexibility. These poses require patience and practice, as they challenge both strength and mobility. Binding helps open the shoulders and hips and supports spinal alignment. Use modifications and props to gradually build toward binding, ensuring safety and comfort. Binding poses add variety and depth to your yoga practice. Garuda legs, inspired by the mythical bird Garuda, involve crossing and hooking the legs in unique ways. These positions challenge balance, flexibility, and coordination. Garuda leg poses stretch the hips and thighs, and often include twists or bends. Practicing Garuda legs helps build strength and awareness, and modifications can make these poses accessible for all practitioners. Explore Garuda legs to add creativity and challenge to your yoga routine. Infinity poses in yoga involve expansive movements that stretch the body in multiple directions. These poses promote openness, flexibility, and balance. By reaching and extending, you create space in the body and mind. Infinity poses often combine side bends, twists, and back bends, offering a comprehensive stretch. Practice these poses mindfully, focusing on breath and alignment, and use modifications to support your journey. Combining twists and binds in yoga is excellent for spinal health and flexibility. These poses stimulate the muscles along the spine, improve circulation, and promote detoxification. Twists and binds also enhance concentration and balance, making them a valuable part of any yoga practice. Move gently and mindfully, respecting your body's limits, and use props or modifications as needed. Mindfulness is at the heart of yoga. By focusing on breath, movement, and drishti, you cultivate awareness and presence. Mindful yoga practice supports relaxation, reduces stress, and enhances overall well-being. Each pose in this sequence invites you to connect with your body and mind, fostering a sense of calm and balance. Practice mindfulness throughout your yoga journey for lasting benefits. We've explored a variety of seated yoga poses, including twists, forward bends, back bends, and unique leg positions. Each posture offers distinct benefits, from enhancing flexibility to promoting relaxation and mindfulness. Modifications and props make these poses accessible for everyone, supporting a sustainable practice. Remember to focus on breath, drishti, and alignment, and enjoy the journey of self-discovery through yoga. Safety is essential in yoga practice. Move slowly and mindfully, respecting your body's limits. Use props and modifications to support your posture and prevent injury. Warm up before starting and cool down after your practice. Listen to your body and avoid forcing any pose. With patience and consistency, you'll build strength, flexibility, and confidence in your yoga journey. As we conclude this seated yoga sequence, take a moment to reflect on your practice. Notice how your body feels, the openness in your hips and spine, and the calmness in your mind. Yoga is a journey of self-discovery, and each pose offers an opportunity to connect more deeply with yourself. Carry this sense of mindfulness and balance into your daily life, and continue exploring the transformative power of yoga.